So the examiner might ask you how you would clean the front window using the front windscreen washer wiper. So in this vehicle, I would simply pull the stick towards me for about 2 or 3 seconds and then release, and it will keep cleaning for a little while, so don't worry about that. And then that is that first question dealt with. How I would check my horn is working properly. In this vehicle, simply all I need to do when it is safe to do so, which means there's just no one really close to me that might get a bit worried, is press the horn and it will sound the horn. This vehicle, you push the stick away from you and you'll see it spray 3 or 4 seconds in the back windscreen, and that means that question has been completed. One really important thing to remember with these questions is that they can be a bit of a distraction. So you'll notice whilst I'm driving down here, I'm still focusing on everything else that is happening. When you're asked these questions, don't get distracted and drift, you know, to the sides or come into something too fast. Prioritize the driving. That is why the when safe to do so is always said at the beginning. Show me how you would turn on your rear demister. I can simply see down here the rear demister, and I would press the button to show that action. Also, how you'd clean the front window using the front demister, which is this button here. Okay, so I press that. Now I'm focusing now on the change of speed. So a bit of mirror work, I'll reduce my speed. Show me how you would do your side window down and then up again. So again, I'm concentrating on the road ahead first, but I know in my car it's this little symbol here. I press that down, the window will open, and then I can pull it back up again and the window will come up. So how you would turn on, your dipped headlights. So I'll get around this corner. Again, I'll focus on the road ahead first, make sure I'm not being distracted, and then I would down here twist this to the left, and that would put on my dipped headlights, and I can tell they're on from the symbol here, which is green. Okay, again, I'm not being distracted, I'm focusing on the road ahead. Again, I'll turn that back off, and the examiner would say thank you very much, and that it completes the moving show me, tell me questions that you might get asked on your test. So when you press the brake pedal, it naturally feels like it's got a bit of a pressure behind it. So if it wasn't working, when you press the brake pedal down there, it would feel slack or spongy. And also the vehicle, if one side was working, might pull to one side. So it shouldn't feel, the pedal shouldn't feel slack or spongy, and the vehicle shouldn't pull to one side. Tell me where you would find the information for the recommended tyre pressure for this car and how the tyre pressure should be checked. We would go to a garage and we'd use a pressure gauge, and in the user manual for the vehicle it would display how much pressure needs to be applied to the tyre. Tell me how you would make sure your head restraint is adjusted correctly so it provides the best protection in the event of a crash. So this one, basically, if I take this off, you must make sure that your head restraint is in line with your eyes and your ears to the center of the head restraint. Tell me how you would check the tyres to ensure they have sufficient tread depth and that their general condition is safe to use on the roads. So as you can see on the tyre, we've got these grooves. Now each one of these grooves must have at least 1.6 millimeter of tread depth on these sections here. These little ridges actually show you that. So if this tyre wears down to this ridge, that means this tyre is obviously no good. And you can see across the full section of the tyre we have that tread depth. So that's basically what that means. We need to make sure there's no damage to the outer edge of the wheel or any, nails or anything that could cause a problem, when you're driving the vehicle. How would you check the directional indicators are working? We could press the hazard warning button, which would operate all of the indicators on the vehicle, and then we can simply get out the vehicle and walk around and do a visual check. So that is great, so that all works. So then we'd get in the car and we'd turn that back off again. Tell me how you would check that the headlights and tail lights are working. You don't need to exit the vehicle. So if they say this, they just want you to explain how you would check they are working. So in this vehicle, normally we're on auto down here. So I'd simply just turn the symbol to the left and the green light should be displayed down here. It also says if it is a tell me question, you don't need to physically check the lights. So if it's a show me question, they would expect you to look, but if it's a tell me question, they just want you to explain it. Tell me how you would know if there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system. So this is a system that basically when you brake, the car tests this as part of its procedure for starting the vehicle up. So when we turn the engine off and back on again, what you'll notice is in the top right hand side here, this ABS symbol comes up. If that didn't turn off, then the ABS system isn't working properly. Okay, so anti-lock braking system, ABS. Tell me how you would check the brake lights are working on this car. Well, basically we have to press the brake and we have to see behind us at the same time, which is impossible. So what we would do is we would press the brake and the examiner would look at the back of the car and tell us if the brake lights were working properly. You could also reverse up to a reflective surface, so a garage door, a shop window or something like that. Tell me how you would check the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. So when you turn the engine on, you should feel noticeable difference in the way the wheel feels. It should feel easy to turn. If it feels hard to turn, then it isn't working properly. Tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog lights and explain when you'd use them. You don't need to exit the vehicle. So again, we don't need to exit the vehicle. So first of all, you have to turn your lights on in this car. So we turn the lights on like we did previously. We can see the symbol here. And then down here, we've got this little one here with the wiggly line through. We press that, and as you can see on the dashboard now, we have this fog light button here. Okay, you see that on, there, and off. Okay, now if the lights are on automatic, it won't work because we've got no actual lights on, so the car knows that we don't want our rear fog light on if we haven't even got our lights on. Okay, so that's important to know. Okay, tell me how you would switch your headlights from dipped to main beam and explain how you'd know the main beam is on. So again, we turn the lights on, and down here, if we push this stick away from us, we will see the blue light come on. This is telling us that we have our full beam, full beam on, and then if we press it again, that's back to our dipped headlights. Remember, dipped are normal lights that are dipped down at the road. Full beam is where it's up high, and these would be used in places where you want to see a little bit better down the road, like country lanes and things like that. But you must turn them off if there's an approaching vehicle, because otherwise you'll dazzle the oncoming vehicle. So we walk to the car. In this vehicle, we have to pull the lever down here. That will open the bonnet. We come around to the front, and under here there's a yellow clip. This yellow clip we pull to the side, to the right, which means we can lift the bonnet up, and that yellow clip is basically operating this thing here. We take this yellow clip out and we put it in the hole up here where the arrow is pointing. Now if you look at the symbol on this tank here, it's the same symbol that's on when you put your handbrake on. So it's a red symbol normally with an exclamation mark. That means this is the brake fluid. We could check the brake fluid level by looking on the side of the tank at the minimum, which is here, and the maximum, which is here. Give the tank a little wobble and you can see that fluid level is just wobbling. I don't know if you can see that at the top, but basically you're checking it's between the minimum and the maximum. This tank is also the same. This one is the engine water coolant. It's got a little symbol on here of a hand touching the tank saying it's hot, so it's called coolant. Now on the side again we have a minimum and a maximum sign, and again this one is slightly overfilled from the garage to the maximum line. Actually it's not, because the little arrow is there, so it's perfect. How would you check your oil? You'd say remove the dipstick, wipe it with a cloth, put it back in, take it back out, check between the minimum maximum marker, make sure the vehicle is on a flat surface and it has been allowed to cool for around 5 minutes.